Welcome to Gutter Trash, episode 270, Labyrinth. My name is Eric.
I am Jason.
How's it going?
It's alright. Welcome to Gutter Trash Early Edition.
Yeah, it is kind of early. A day early and early in the afternoon.
Right? The sun is out.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday, which is a very rare occurrence for us.
Super rare.
Yeah.
Like, I know that I've done Saturday shows without you. Mm-hmm. Like where I've had a guest host.
Oh,
maybe?
you mean you're not just super sexy podcast?
Not just super sexy podcast, yeah. This actually is a day that I should have been recording a stupid sexy podcast.
Is it?
It's the first of the month, first Saturday of the month. But couldn't make it work.
It's too bad.
Which is also fine because I would not have woken up.
And you chose the better podcast to when it all boils down.
Well, it's true.
Yeah.
It's the Mothership podcast. It's the one I have the most loyalty to.
Right.
Yeah.
It generates the most revenue.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Which is 0.
Exactly.
But that's bigger than the revenue from the other one.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's okay. It's a Saturday. We got nothing to do.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a life.
Yeah, this is my day off.
Right.
Well, there's a special reason we're doing it on Saturday, though.
Sorta.
Because usually what we do, for those at home, this is your DVD extra.
Right.
We watch the movie in your apartment or at the theater.
For sure.
And then we come back here or, come into the office and record.
Immediately,
moments later.
Like, yeah, occasionally we have, watched something and then maybe gotten something to eat.
Right.
But, only, an hour in between the two.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, we're not slaughtering our own cows.
No. Yeah, this is an occasion where we saw a movie at a movie theater yesterday. Late. Mm-hmm. Very late.
Oh, yeah.
And, which again was Friday, which is not a time that you or I ever hang out.
Yeah, it's bizarre time.
Right.
This is bizarre time.
And so we're recording it here on Saturday so that we don't forget what we watched.
And just so people know, because I've probably stated on here in the past, I have a rule about I won't go to the theater past noon.
Right.
This is hardly a theater that we went to. And it was in an edge of town that only drunkards and transients roam. So chances are I knew it wasn't going to be very crowded other than with people that I know.
Right.
And I was kind of right.
Yeah?
I mean, there were some people there, but...
Okay. So, we should probably explain what in the hell is happening here.
It was something special.
It was a kind of a special thing. I think I talked about it last month. When I went to go see Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mm-hmm. I went to see at this same theater for this same sort of event. It's called Fritz the Night Owl Theater. And what it is it's a former horror host from Columbus, Ohio, who, he basically got the opportunity to restart his show, even though it hadn't been on in 20 years.
Oh, wow. Is it that long?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think, mid-90s was the last time he was on the air as Fritz the Night Owl. Mm-hmm. But, he's a radio and television personality from Columbus. And just a fan of his, a couple of years ago, decided that I would love to figure out a way to bring this back. And somehow they have worked out a deal where they can get these big studio movies, show them completely uncut, and just intersperse horror host segments into them.
Right, where he's making weird comments and...
Right, yeah. And so, they've been doing this for a while, and they show the movie completely uncut, completely unchanged, Just they find like a stopping point in the film, and then they do like a little segment where he gives like some trivia about the movie or the making of.
Yeah.
And then they show like commercials and stuff. Or
That
just,
are
like,
somehow related to the
right,
film.
right.
Yeah.
And so when I went to see Indiana Jones last month, it was like the trivia about the movie and making of, and then they would show like, the commercial for the Raiders of the Lost Ark Atari game,
Right.
or
That's super
like
cool.
weird like Coke tie-in commercials
With
to
like Sean Connery and stuff.
Right,
like that.
yeah. Or just Indiana Jones related stuff, and there are a ton.
Toy commercials.
Toy commercials.
Oh, I would love to have seen that.
Yep. So that's what they do, and so last night they presented Labyrinth, the 1986, 86,
Something like that. Yeah.
mid 80s, fantasy movie starring Jennifer Connelly and David Bowie.
Yeah.
The David Bowie.
The fairy fella.
Yeah, the fairy fella.
The very fella. There were fairies in this movie.
There were,
But
yeah.
he was not one. He was a Goblin King.
He is the Goblin King.
Yeah.
Jareth.
Yeah. Yeah. He's badass.
So they do this at the Englewood Cinema every month, usually the last Friday of the month. They do it the previous week at a theater in Columbus. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a neat. It's a cool idea.
It is a very cool idea.
Yeah.
Because, I can't. So I thought I had seen Labyrinth somewhere in the past 5 or 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently I haven't.
Oh, we think of Dark Crystal.
No, because I've never seen Dark Crystal.
Okay. I always get those two mixed up.
Okay. But there were a ton of things in this movie that I just didn't recall ever.
Right.
Yeah.
I got those two mixed up. I knew Labyrinth had the Labyrinth in it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I knew it had David Bowie in it.
Uh-huh.
But every creature and setting and
Sure.
scene, I
Right.
just my mind doesn't know which movie is Dark
Right.
Crystal
Right.
and which one was Labyrinth.
Yeah, I have never seen Dark Crystal, but I can see that. I mean, Muppets.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Muppets in this movie.
Right.
There's Muppets in that movie.
Yeah, Jim Henson directed this thing.
Jim Henson directed it, yeah. Produced by George Lucas, and the screenplay written by Terry Jones of Monty Python.
Right.
Yeah.
Although, I guess none of that really
Mattered?
I guess they said in one of the trivia bits that his actual script isn't what we watched.
Right.
Because it was rewritten 20 times.
Right.
But they said it was originally super dark
Right.
and weird. And
It's still weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there was elements I could definitely see of Terry Jones, like the talking pillars and things like that they just wanted to get their
Speeches,
right, because
yeah.
they'd been waiting so long.
Or the little inchworm thing.
Yeah, the inchworm, totally Terry
Yeah,
Jones.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is a movie that definitely wears its influences on its sleeves.
Actually, it wears them on the screen in some spots. It actually shows you the books that it was influenced by.
Wizard of Oz, Where the Wild Things Are, others.
There was an MC Escher
Yeah.
poster in Jennifer Connelly's room. What was her character's name?
Sarah.
Sarah, that's right. I remember Toby was her little brother, but
Yeah. Her name is Sarah.
Sarah, yeah. She's a fan of fantasy and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, what's this movie about?
This movie is about an unlikable, completely entitled bitch.
Don't talk about David Bowie like that.
And it also stars Jennifer Connelly.
Oh, were you going to make that joke? I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
Jennifer Connelly plays probably the most unlikable character I've ever seen in a movie.
At least at the beginning, she kind of...
I don't feel that she ever redeems herself.
I don't know that I would say redeemed, but she is headed in that direction. She's a lot nicer by the end of the movie. I definitely wouldn't want to... if I had to choose one of the girls to hang out with, beginning of the movie or into the movie Jennifer Connelly, it would have been into the movie. Actually, if I had to choose, it would be Requiem for a Dream Jennifer Connelly, but because that party trick she does is great. But no, I prefer her at the end of Labyrinth to the beginning of Labyrinth.
Right.
She seems a little nicer.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Right.
I still don't feel like she really learned anything there at the end. She still seems like she's going to be just super entitled.
Very entitled, yeah. Yeah, like her room is so full of, just crap that her rich parents have bought her. And,
Right.
And like literally her backyard is like some majestic Shakespearean play field.
I don't think that was her backyard.
It wasn't. It was like down the street.
Down the street. It was a park of some sort, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because the movie starts off with her acting out lines from a book called Labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it a play, maybe?
I think it's a book.
Because she's like an actress, and she wants to be an actress or something.
I don't have any clue.
Oh.
They don't really fill in on that.
Yeah, I mean, there was like a quick line or something at the beginning where there was like a playbill in her room, and she was, I don't know, I thought she was like trying out for a part or something.
I feel like there's stuff in this movie that got cut out that maybe
Tied it together.
Tied in a few more things. Because there definitely seems to be a part of this movie where it's about her mother, I think. Because the woman at the beginning of the movie is her stepmother.
Right.
I don't think they even fully explain that. But she just clearly, for zero reason that we see, just kind of hates her stepmother.
Right.
And definitely hates her half brother. That has been spawned out of that.
The little baby. He's a little baby.
He is a baby.
Cute little baby.
He's a baby.
Yeah. A baby.
But she's got pictures of this woman that we never see, all over her mirror in the room, and this a whole bunch of knickknacks and stuff. And I think that's all
That's her mom?
stuff from her mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Right. And I think part of the movie is when she there's a part in the movie where she's in the labyrinth and that weird guy with the ostrich on its head.
Oh yeah, I love that guy.
Falls asleep and has the donation box rattling, and she puts the ring in there. I feel like that is supposed to be this thing happening throughout, where she is shedding her attachment to her mother so that she can move on.
That would make sense.
But it's never really realized.
It was in version 17 of the script.
Right, yeah.
Was the last time it was in there.
Right.
Okay.
So I feel like there's something there that's supposed to be happening, but it's never fleshed out. And so it really just ultimately worsens Jennifer Connelly's character.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because at the beginning she seems just a spoiled rich kid.
Right.
Her parents are going out for some sort of date.
Yeah.
Leaving her to babysit her little baby brother.
Right.
Toby. The baby. And he kind of reminded me, not that babies don't all look the same to me, but I totally was wondering, I was is that the same baby from Raising Arizona? Maybe it's because there's a scene where he's at the top of a stairwell looking down, and every time I see a baby looking down a stairwell, it's when I watch Raising Arizona.
Right.
Because that doesn't usually happen in daily life. Usually people keep their babies away from the top of a stairwell.
Sure, yeah.
So I was wondering, I don't know, maybe it was just because of the setting, but I was that baby really looks like the baby from Raising Arizona, which was also a early mid 80s movie.
Sure.
So I don't know.
I don't know either.
Who knows?
Yeah. I will say this, I found it weird that in the credits there was only one baby listed as playing the baby.
Really?
Yeah.
So maybe that was just one baby.
Well, usually in cases where they have a very young baby in a movie, it is played by twins.
Right.
Because, the stresses of being on a movie, you can really only do
right
so much amount of time with one,
Maybe they filmed it over a longer period of time or something?
Could be, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe that baby's just good. He's the De Niro of babies.
He could be the De Niro of babies. Yeah.
Or maybe you would say the Christian Bale of babies, because he does a lot of weight loss type stuff.
Yeah. Well, De Niro did once too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like Raging Bull.
Did he lose a lot of weight?
Lost a lot of weight, gained a lot of weight. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Raging Bull. I think that's kind of like what people often compare like anybody else who does similar stuff to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen that movie, but I can't remember how skinny or weakly he looked.
I don't think he ever got weakly, but he was like in fit.
Oh, okay.
Boxing, muscular, young,
right,
buff De Niro, and then he goes to like fat slob.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, and he's kind of done that for most of his movies in the last 10 years. Seems like he went into that mode. Probably just because he's getting older.
Right. Yeah. But anyway, so Sarah hates her brother and wishes him away to the Goblin King.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
You're like, man, this guy is giving me a hard time. I wish the fucking goblins would come into this rallies and just yank that person through the window into the world of goblins.
What do you have against the rallies guy?
No, not that rallies guy. Just like the dude that works at the rallies down here or something, who doesn't have problems with the rallies guy?
I mean, it's true.
I haven't been to a rally since I was in high school, actually.
It's probably been about 6 months for me.
Oh, wow. Oh. Did you wish him away to the Goblin King?
I just wish I would have gotten my food quicker.
Yeah.
And correctly.
Right. See, that's one of the problems with the rallies.
I'm usually just too mad that I can't think of the right words to wish away the rallies guy to the Goblin King.
You'd accidentally conjure up, some other lesser deity.
Right, yeah. So she wishes the brother away and then immediately regrets it.
Yeah.
When it actually happens.
Right.
When her wish comes true.
That's what happens. They say, be careful what you wish. I've heard that before.
I have heard that before, too.
It's a popular saying.
Yeah. So she has 13 hours to go through his labyrinth to make it to his castle to retrieve the baby back. And then the wackiness ensues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's basically an adventure movie at that point, like a quest.
Yeah.
And she meets insightful and ludicrous characters upon her journey and collects them as fellow adventurers. Yeah. Kind of like in A Wizard of Oz.
Kind of like in A Wizard of Oz, yeah. She definitely winds up with a ragtag group. Including a goblin named Hoggle, a giant grizzly monster named
Bluto, yep.
And a little dog creature that rides a dog, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head.
The dog was Ambrosius.
Yes, I remember that.
Was it Rocket Raccoon? Because it kind of looked like that.
Kind of did, a little bit. There's a new Rocket Raccoon series coming out.
Really?
Written and drawn by Scotty Young.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Howdy.
Yeah, I love the Bluto character. He's awesome. Great. I would hug that thing.
Yeah.
Keep him in my garage.
Sure.
Feed him peanut butter.
Yeah.
Yeah. He seemed cool. What? What's wrong with
feed him peanut butter?
Yeah, that's
like
protein.
Put it like on your junk.
I would not feed him from my junk. I've learned my lesson about taking in strays and doing that. But yeah, those were cool characters. I liked those guys a lot.
Yeah.
At one point, they keep, like, there's a running joke where people mess up Hoggle's name.
Right.
And at one point, they call him Hogwart.
Yeah.
Is that where they got the name for Hogwarts?
I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
sense. That whole Harry Potter thing is a complete rip-off of Books of Magic, so,
Oh, right. I've never read Books of Magic.
Really? You should. Yeah. The first one, at least.
I don't know.
It's pretty good.
I would read it if it was forced upon me, like picked on the show.
Right.
But
Maybe I will.
Of my own initiative, that would never happen.
Neil Gaiman?
I don't love everything Neil Gaiman's done.
Neither do I.
I do like Neil Gaiman.
Well, there you go.
Signal to Noise.
It's got that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
It's got John Constantine in it. It's got
really?
the Spirit. Or not the Spirit. The Spectre.
Okay.
It's got Mr. E.
Oh.
The Phantom Stranger.
What?
The Trenchcoat Brigade.
Sounds like it sounds like a Marvel comic where they throw Wolverine in because they know it's not going to sell otherwise.
It does have Wolverine in it.
Does it? Well, yeah. That's cool. Okay, I'll read it then. But yeah, Labyrinth.
Labyrinth.
So why did you agree to watch a musical? I mean, it's not a musical like Sound of Music. There might be like 3 or 4 songs in the movie. It's not like every 10 minutes or anything. Well,
I didn't. You sort of forced me to pick this for the show.
I did not. Well, you were already going to go see the movie then.
We were going to go see the movie. I was not going to review it.
Yeah.
This was not ever part of the plan.
Oh no, I'm just surprised that you would even watch it. Like,
because I wanted to go hang out with my friends.
Right. That seems like you would have convinced them to do something that didn't involve a musical. I thought you kind of were anti-musicals.
I am.
But you're overcoming that. I'm proud of you.
No? Because that was the worst part of this whole thing.
The songs.
The worst. Not just... Okay, so my problem with musicals is that I don't like people singing.
Right.
It's weird, and it's awkward, and awful. And when it happens in the middle of a story that should just be moving forward and not just completely stopping so that we can listen to someone sing a dumb fucking song.
Right.
It's wrong. Musicals are wrong.
I think if they're funny, they're enjoyable.
They are wrong. Service the story. Do not. Musicals are anti-story.
It was David Bowie. You gotta have some music in there.
I've seen him in movies without him singing.
Oh, you just forgot about those awesome song numbers in Prestige and whatnot.
And also, I think I learned last night, because before the movie there was like 7 David Bowie music videos playing.
Oh, right.
As part of the event. And, I learned that apparently up until a certain point, or starting at a certain point, I am no longer a David Bowie fan.
Oh, really?
And I think that point is the 80s. And this movie, coincidentally, made in the 80s.
Right.
And the songs written and performed by David Bowie in this movie are very 80s.
Yeah, they're pretty 80s. Yeah.
Everything is very synthy, with a lot of 80s drums and sax solos.
Oh, yeah, you gotta have the sax solo.
And so, on that level alone, I hated the music in this movie.
Yeah, but it's not an 80s song without a sax solo. I mean, like that, the sax solo in I Don't Want to Hear It by Minor Threat is awesome. It makes that song. No, I agree. I like David Bowie's entire career. Like, I would put it all in the like category, but the 80s is like towards the bottom of the like category.
My like for David Bowie ends in like the 70s.
Yeah, that's clearly his best time.
Oh, yeah.
His early 70s.
And,
mid 70s.
He had a couple of decent songs in the 90s, but
I really liked some of his new stuff.
But but that's pretty much it for me and Bowie. Ziggy Stardust, all that stuff. That is where I'm at with Bowie.
Yeah.
And Jareth the Goblin King, not so much.
Yeah. Well, that's something about this movie. Like, I would say I 30 to 40% like this movie.
All right.
Like, I don't like, I'll probably never watch it again because I was bored in a lot of places, not just the music scenes, but there's a lot of things I don't really love about this movie.
Well, it's also not your bag.
But it's for kids. And like,
It's for kids,
I think the songs are for kids, and like the whole thing is for kids. And
Right.
but I mean,
There's nothing wrong with kids' movies.
no, not at all.
Right.
But I mean, even as a kid, I didn't love this movie.
I didn't love this movie either. But also, you and I are not fantasy.
No,
people.
never have.
Yeah.
Never have really been into that.
So I mean, it is very much in that vein, and that is not a thing you and I are into.
Right.
And so you add music into it. I'm I should be against this movie entirely.
Right.
I find it enjoyable.
Really?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I laughed multiple times.
Yeah, there's some cool parts for sure. Visually, it's pretty amazing.
Visually, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like just all the creatures, the costumes, the designs, the sets, everything about it is just so well thought out and so well put together that
Oh yeah.
you just can't deny all
like,
that.
Like the little things too. Like I love when there's these two doors, like giant castle doors that, like when they close,
I was just about to mention that.
it becomes like this giant guy, like the
It's
doors.
a giant robot.
It's pretty sweet.
It's fucking great.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim Henson was just a genius.
Yeah, yeah. Except for some of those shitty commercials. Man, some of those were awful.
Well, you can't really blame Jim Henson for those.
No, I mean, like, I'm sure he did the best he could, but... And it might have been because...
I mean, he was probably just hired to make puppets and voice them.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Like, probably the words were not his.
Right.
And then my enjoyment of the commercials may have been deeply lessened by the fact that they were, like, 20 times louder than the movie.
Right.
Like, it physically hurt my ears during those commercials. Like, I had to cover my ears at one point because they were just so fucking loud. It was weird.
Yeah. I mean, they do need, I think, the entire Fritz experience needs to, work out some kinks here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I definitely had the problem in Raiders where I couldn't hear the movie sometimes. Like the volume.
Right.
The volume for the movie just seems low. And, the commercials are just super loud. Or
Do you think that was, like, them or the actual theater's sound system?
I think that's them. Because if it's 2 times in a row that I've seen that happen.
Right. But it was both at that same theater, though.
True. Right. But,
because the opening thing during the David Bowie music videos, there's a point where, like, one of the channels just appears to not be there.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's them, though.
Yeah.
Because all it is, it's being played on a DVD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, sorry to ruin that experience for you, but,
So, were these made for TV or for the theater?
They're broadcast, they're shown at the theaters, but, you can go out to the lobby afterward and buy it.
Oh, okay. So it's on DVD as well.
Yeah. Or download it or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And like, I guess, like, this is fairly recent because during one of the informational things between videos, he mentioned, some of the other things that David Bowie's done, and he mentioned working with the late Lou Reed.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's pretty recent.
Right.
So, like,
and then, his album came out last year. They also mentioned that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're done. Like, this is like a one-time thing. Like, like it's made and then it's shown.
Wow.
So, and then, like I said, you can buy it as a download later or whatever, but, it is made for the theater experience.
I did find it kind of impressive, the effects and things that they use for the Fritz parts. They were pretty funny.
He was the first horror host to ever use any kind of special effects during his show.
Wow.
Throughout the 80s and 90s.
Nice.
And that technology has only gotten better.
Yep.
So, and easier to do. So, why not?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, he'll, during the breaks or whatever, during the trivia part, he appears, as a character in the movie or something, or superimposed over a character. Yeah.
Right. But, like, again, they don't, like, just do that during the film. It's like they re-show a little clip.
Right. Yeah.
And they edit them in. So you do get to see the entire movie start to finish without anything obscuring that movie.
Exactly.
Other than the little interruption breaks.
Right.
Yeah. Just so people are clear.
Yeah. And then they show some commercials, like we talked about. The one that they kept showing was the Red Diamond coffee.
Yeah. And the LaChoy dragon. I loved the LaChoy.
I only saw the one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think one of them, when you went to the restroom, appeared. The LaChoy dragon commercials were by far my favorite.
The first one was really good because it was just weird and just sort of almost subversive.
Yeah, yeah. I just like there was one where a lady was like, "Oh, I can't even boil water," right. And then the dragon comes in and cooks dinner for her family.
Right.
It was pretty weird. But the dragon is like one of those Jim Henson puppets where a person is inside. It's one of those huge creatures. Yep. So it was really neat.
Yeah, Jim Henson was good at that kind of thing. Then the Red Diamond one, there's like, two small hand puppets. One of which is voiced by, Jim Henson.
Is it the Kermit one?
The Kermit-y one, yeah. But then there was like other ones like the weird, like Cloverland Dairy.
Oh, that was bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when that one happened, I didn't even realize that was a Jim Henson thing. I thought it was just a weird old commercial.
No, yeah.
And then like I started thinking, I was like, oh, okay, that's probably a Jim Henson thing too.
Right. But then there was also commercials featuring David Bowie.
Yeah, yeah. Like a Pepsi commercial.
There was a Pepsi commercial with him and Tina Turner.
That's pretty great.
It was, like, I couldn't see Kathleen, but I imagine she was throwing a fit when that was happening.
She was like, it's so 80s!
Because I'm not mistaken in thinking that those are two of her favorite people in the world.
She loves both of them, yeah.
So I got up and went to the bathroom during one of these commercial breaks. And then when I came back, I decided I didn't want to sit with you guys anymore. So I just sat in the back row because our friend Matt had gotten up super early during the movie, and he never came back.
Right.
And so when I got up and left, I saw he was just sitting in the back row, so I joined him. So, I missed that one commercial break. And I got to say, actually, the sound sounded better in the back there than it did.
Oh, really? So, okay. Yeah. We might have been right under a speaker or something.
That's possible, yeah.
Did you miss any of the film?
I did not miss any of the film.
Okay, because, when the commercial was over and you still weren't back, I was like, oh my god, he's going to miss the part where she decapitates a half a dozen reggae singers.
Nope, yep. I was there for that.
I was like, he's not going to believe me when I tell her that.
Nope, I saw that, yep.
Because that happened.
That did happen.
Yeah. She rips their fucking heads off.
Yep. During a musical number.
Well, yeah.
Which is when you should rip someone's head off.
It's when you always want to. Complete with 80s keyboards.
Yep.
And the reggae number. Yeah, so, okay, we kind of veered away from the story. Basically, the Goblin King steals the baby.
Right.
He has her. He has him. And she has to quest for him. And the Goblin King is not very trusting as far as, playing by the rules.
No, he's crafty, that one. It's probably the pants.
It's those pants. This movie wasn't rated R, was it?
It was not.
Because I saw David Bowie's pecker.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep.
The entire shape of it.
It sits there, and his balls.
Oh yeah, nothing left to imagine.
No, it is creased perfectly into his pants.
Oh yeah.
Almost as if the pants had a David Bowie genital pocket.
Right. Yeah, stitched in, part of the costume.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it was incredible as in, particularly impressive junk.
Right. Just they got away with it.
In a kid's movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, hey, there's this one scene if you freeze frame. No, it's 40% of the movie is...
Yeah. Every time he shows up, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
There is David Bowie's junk.
Yep.
In this Jim Henson, George Lucas movie.
Right. Right. It was pretty weird.
Yeah.
It was it was the yoga pants kind of effect,
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, so, David Bowie is evil. And he's trying to keep the baby.
And can turn into an owl.
And can turn into an owl.
Mm-hmm.
And he has these floating crystal ball things, much like the tall man from Phantasm.
Yeah.
But less lethal.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just crystal balls.
Yeah.
They can float around and show you things.
Yeah. And his giant hair.
He's got some pretty cool hair in this movie.
Yeah. And then some people showed up to the theater dressed
Yeah.
in costume.
Yep. A guy dressed like David Bowie and one like, who was the lady?
I think she was also dressed like David Bowie.
Was she? Okay.
She just didn't have the hair.
That might have been it.
Yeah. Which I wish the guy wouldn't have had the hair, because that's all I could look at when I was sitting with you guys.
Right.
Because it was giant and in front of us.
It was like 2 rows ahead of us, right?
Yeah. And illuminated by the movie screen. Yeah. But all that was much better than what was happening behind us.
Oh. There were some kids.
Yeah,
And they were kind of loud.
They were super loud. And apparently their parents are horrible people.
Yeah, they were just kind of... And basically, if the kids started talking, the parent would, like, converse with them.
Yep.
Instead of, like, shush them.
Right. Yeah.
Like, oh, that is a kind of a cool dinosaur, isn't it? Isn't that like the dinosaur you have?
Right.
Where did you get that dinosaur? It's like, you're making conversation with your child during the film.
Okay, so I went to the Raiders of the Lost Ark one. There was like 12 people there, and I knew 7 people.
Right.
Out of all that, there was probably about 50 people at this one.
Mm-hmm.
And, I didn't know any of those people. So this one was actually, according to our friend Matt Brassfield that we were with, the busiest one that they've had.
Oh, really?
And so there were no talking kids at the last one, but...
Do you think it was busier because of the specific movie, or just the word of mouth is building about this thing?
I think it was the specific movie.
Okay.
Because apparently some people left when they realized what was happening.
Oh, that it wasn't just the movie?
Right, yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
And clearly the guy that showed up in David Bowie costume,
He kind of knew what was going on.
I don't think he knew what was going on.
You don't think so?
I don't think so at all, yeah.
Really?
I think he thought it was just going to be Labyrinth and not this weird, almost horror host thing.
Really? See, I would have assumed if anyone in the theater knew, it would be him because of the costume, like the weird partiness of his,
Yeah, I think some freaks just like to dress up in costume because they're fucking weird. I don't support cosplay.
So when I dressed up like a cowboy to go see Dallas Buyers Club, that was probably not a good idea.
I mean, as long as I wasn't there, I don't give a shit what you do.
I would have tried to get you to dress in drag like Jared Leto, but yeah, I knew it wasn't going to happen. Well, yeah. But as much as I detest people talking during the theater, I think one of the most enjoyable parts of the experience last night was when the kid yelled "sit down" to Matt Brassfield and us, because we all had to stand up to let him. Or it wasn't us; it was like the people in front of us, like
It was
Joji,
Juliet and Joji and Natalie and Jeremy.
Right.
They all had to stand up to let Matt Brassfield go through.
because those aisles are thin.
They're very thin. It's
Yeah.
a very small theater. Hasn't been renovated since probably like the 70s.
Right? Yeah, literally. Like that's not an exaggeration.
Yeah. And Matt Brassfield and Joji are not small men.
Right? They're not. They're no David Bowie.
Right. They're both probably 6'3", 6'4", something like that. They're tall guys, and they were blocking the screen.
Right.
And I was giving Matt the finger as he was just standing
it took
there.
forever for them to get by because
did.
it's cramped.
It's
cramped.
super cramped.
Yeah.
And also he was like holding down Juliet's head into her seat. It was weird.
I saw that.
Yeah, but I was giving Matt the finger, and then these kids were just like, "Sit down."
Yeah, which cracked me up. Like I laughed for like 10 minutes. Like every time I thought I was done, like it came back up, and I was like, "Those kids fucking rule." Because like as soon as he said it, I heard one of the parents go, "Shh, Davey, shh," like he couldn't believe it.
You were wrong, and the parents were right in that situation. The parents were wrong for never teaching him in the first place to not be an asshole that just
Right.
says things, especially in a movie theater.
Right? Well, yeah.
And then,
But it was funny.
like shortly after that was them having the fucking dinosaur conversation.
Yeah,
you were not exaggerating when you started saying that they were talking about dinosaurs. That is what they were talking about.
Right? Having a conversation, no less. It wasn't like, one said a comment and the other one shushed them.
Right, no, yeah.
It just went on and on.
And so that is when Eric had to step in and tell them to shut up.
Yeah, well, you were polite over.
I tried.
You said, please be quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First time you get the polite.
Yeah.
If I have to go any more than that, it escalates.
Right.
I did not have to go any more than that.
Yeah, it was pretty okay for the rest of the movie.
It was okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did have a much better time when I was sitting in the back. Yeah.
Right. Just because Bressville gave you a handy.
Well, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why you sit in the back of the theater.
Yep.
People. But no, it cracked me up when he said that. Having legitimately, I enjoyed that a lot. And only because it was somebody I knew. If it had been just some dude walking out of him, and the kids yelled at him, I would have been like, "That's just rude."
Right.
But I fucking loved it that it was Brassfield and Joe G and Jeremy and everybody that was standing up. That was great. Just to hear a 6-year-old kid yell at 3 people that I've worked with in the past. That was awesome.
You almost got yelled at.
It's true.
By me.
I was trying to get my last Sour Patch Kid out that I snuck in. It was down in there in the corner, where it wedged itself in. And I was like, "You fucker, get out of there!" And I should have waited. It was a scene that was kind of quiet. There wasn't a lot of action going on. And I was like, "I want that fucking Sour Patch Kid now." I was like, I'm not going to be beaten by a piece of candy that is already pissing me off because they started shaping them like children. And I just...
Sour Patch Kids.
I know, but...
We're always shaped like children.
No, they used to just be well, okay, they have faces now. It's creepy.
You still ate that entire bag.
I shared a few with you.
Yeah, I had 4, maybe.
I tried to give some to Kathleen, but she was loading up on popcorn.
But this also is the second entire bag of Sour Patch Kids you've eaten in 2 weeks.
Yes, that is true, but it's also the second...
So apparently this whole children thing is not really bothering
But
you
it's the second bag I've eaten in the last 5 years as well.
Well, this is how addiction starts.
Right. It is all of a sudden...
Right.
It's huge, yeah. Yeah, Joe turned around and said, "Shh." But you know what? There was a moment earlier where Joe was talking to somebody. I forget what he was talking about, but he talked to somebody during the movie.
Did he?
There was an exchange, and it was he said something, they said something, he said something, and I started to say, "Hey, cut it." I started to say that.
They they were talking during the trailers.
Oh, I remember it was during the film because I was surprised.
Okay.
Yeah. I forget what it was. It was during the movie though. It wasn't the opening credits or anything. It was
Yeah, it must have been when I wasn't there then.
Yeah, it might have been after you went to the back.
Yeah.
But I was surprised.
I made some noise too. I had my cup full of ice that I was chewing on the entire movie. Yeah.
But I mean maybe it's because I'm not a huge fan of Labyrinth. Maybe because they're gonna reshow Alien in the summer. Maybe if it was during Alien, I would be more tuned up or whatever. But this, it kind of I'm a little more forgiving for loudness and misbehaving during a movie like this, where it's a weird fun thing where it's a special event. It's not just you're going to the movies for something to do.
For me, if it would have been appropriate to the movie, I wouldn't have given a shit. If the kids behind us were just oohing and ahhing at things that were happening,
or laughing,
right, I'm fine with that.
Right.
But they were having fucking conversations about dinosaurs, and they can't see over the giant guy standing in front of them.
Right. Well, wouldn't you be pissed if you were a child and there was giant people?
Sure. But I even heard a conversation the kid was "I'm gonna leave." And, I think he did, stand up to leave, and his dad was "No, sit down."
Oh, wow. Was that during, one of the commercials or something?
No, it was, right at the beginning.
Huh.
He was already, not on board with the movie.
Right. I don't know that I can say it's not a great movie, because it probably is a really good movie, but Yeah, it's not for me. It never was for me.
Exactly.
Like I like some of the imagery, but never at one moment in my life have I been the target audience of that movie.
Right. I feel the same way. Like I enjoyed it last night, but I think part of that was because I was there with like 10 people that I knew.
Yeah.
It was fun. Just a fun thing that we all got together and did.
It was fun.
But the movie itself it's fine.
Right.
Like visually, it's great, and then everything else is just sort of there.
Right.
And, and it's also just weird to see David Bowie
in all of his glory.
Right, yeah.
But I'm, like, they're gonna next month do The Goonies.
Yeah.
Which I fucking love that movie, and I've seen it 100 times.
Right.
I'm so excited about that. That would be great.
Yeah. So they do this once a month. They're doing Goonies. I think following that with The Lost Boys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Which I think Joji is super excited for.
And Jeremy Hoyt.
The Lost Boys, which I will be skipping, because that movie is terrible.
I like it.
What else? Friday the 13th, which, okay. So last month they showed all these same trailers.
Right.
So they showed the Friday the 13th one, and I'm glad you guys were there because we got to talk about the fact that it may be the worst trailer for a movie that has ever been made.
Awful. Yeah. Awful. It was just like, like halfway through the trailer, you're like, we get it.
Right.
Fucking move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they keep showing these victims, potential victims, and then like, they don't show their murder, but they show right up to the moment right before there would be the murder.
Right.
Where they're gasping and looking off screen.
Right.
And it's like, one.
Yeah.
And then they show another person. And then like,
they count to 13.
Yeah, they go to 13. And it's not like 1, 2. I mean, it's like 1.
Right.
Moments, more moments pass.
Some dialogue.
Right. Oh, it just goes on. It's tedious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how in the world, in 1970 whatever, when that movie was made, did anybody want to see that movie after watching that trailer?
Most of those trailers, honestly, other than Alien, like the Alien trailer, maybe I'm biased, but I thought it was exciting.
The Alien trailer was fine, but you also have like a really good filmmaker who made that.
Yeah, but I mean, like you never know who edited that trailer.
True, right?
But like even Goonies,
is weird, but
it looks kind of boring to me.
It's a kids movie, so like I can see why they went with that, and same with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but
it was so quiet, and like the Goonies is such an adventure, fun movie,
right?
And like that trailer was like quiet, and just showed them like riding their bikes, like with no music, and
right.
I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but Friday the 13th was
that was the worst. Yeah, the worst.
I don't understand how people ever wanted to watch that movie after seeing that.
I saw that movie, and I'd wanted to see it for a while by the time I actually got to watch it when I was a kid, and I'd never seen a trailer. I think I just heard everybody at school go, dude, have you seen Friday the 13th? And that was like all I needed,
Right. Yeah, I don't think I ever saw a trailer until last month for it.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, I'm sure I saw a trailer for like Jason Takes Manhattan or something.
But not for the first one.
No.
Which, but still never seen it, so. But I'll go see that. I'll go watch that.
I will not.
Okay. Just based on the trailer.
I've seen the first one, and it's one of my least favorite of the Friday the 13th movies because it's probably the best actual movie.
Right.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, like I totally get it. Like there's a sort of.
There's a thing I like about Friday the 13th,
and that's not in that.
It's movie. Not because it's good. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like part 6 is a million times better to me than any of the rest of them.
Right. And there's like a certain expectation you have for a Friday the 13th movie.
Yeah.
And that is not in that first movie.
No. Yeah, that one's probably a decent film, and I've seen it once, but it's not so good that I want to see it more often.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's worth seeing once.
Yeah. I'll go see it with Matt Brassfield and whoever else will show up.
I'm sure that'll be fun, because Brassfield will... And like, I'm sure like the Fritz the Night Owl inserts... Those almost make anything worth seeing. Those were pretty well done.
Oh yeah,
Like he's good at what he does.
I'd be curious to see what type of commercials that they would have.
Right? Yeah, because there's no product tie-ins, I'm sure.
I mean, there aren't now.
Well, yeah,
but,
that's true. They might do that. Because they showed later David Bowie stuff.
Right,
so.
like that Louis Vuitton ad.
That was horrible.
It was weird, and like I leaned over to Matt, and I was like, "Is this the sequel to Labyrinth?" Because it's like, because that showed like right after like the ballroom scene.
Yeah, I had the ballroom stuff.
So this is like a ballroom scene with David Bowie playing the piano, and there's people in weird, fucked up costumes, and I was just like, "What is happening?"
It kind of reminded me of like Eyes Wide Shut a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. But it's like an ad for purses.
Yeah.
Like really expensive purses.
I think Kathleen really liked that commercial.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
There was the previous one, which was like where David Bowie is like in his house, and like there's just all sorts of like different era David Bowie's hanging around.
Yeah, that was odd.
And Matt leaned over to me and was like, "What was that even for?" I was like, "I think that was for water."
Was it?
I think it was an ad for bottled water.
Oh, yeah, because at the end he does, like, get a drink of water or something. It's weird.
So, basically what we learned from this movie is that David Bowie's a whore.
Yeah, right, he'll do anything.
He'll pretty much sell anything.
Right, yeah. Pepsi, water, whatever.
Yep.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, where were the spiders?
I know, right? They were probably on Mars where they should be. It was fun. It was a fun experience.
Yeah, it was.
And especially if I can enjoy the experience that much with a movie that I like that little,
right?
I think it's a really cool thing that they're doing.
Totally.
And they're doing them in Columbus, too, so if you're in the Columbus area, look him up, Fritz the Night Owl.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has a website.
He does indeed. I believe it's nightowltheater.com.
Okay.
Something like that.
Cool. Yeah, Google that shit.
Yeah, just Google it. Fritz the Night Owl. N-I-T-E.
Yeah, N-I-T-E. Owl is O-L-I-E-Z apostrophe Q. No, it's the regular owl.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, if you're in Dayton, it's in Englewood, which is North Dayton. Not a terrible part of town, but it's a weird little theater that is very old, and there's one screen.
Yeah.
And it is not stadium seating. So
and they all start sweating if you pull out a credit card.
Yep.
They're like, what the hell is that?
There is a lot of acrobatics that you have to do in order to pay with something with a credit card.
Like I had mentioned earlier, this theater was kind of weird and creepy or whatever, but I really like old, like odd theaters like that. It was. I'm really glad that's still there.
Yeah, but yeah, it is a one-screen theater that is at the end of a parking lot behind a Kmart.
It's creepy. Like we left at 1 a.m. or whatever, and I was a little scared that we were going to be murdered.
Yeah,
because it's just like faces. Yeah, like we were parked like behind the building where there was just like this 7-foot tall fence and like a creepy dark corner, and it was weird. But yeah, highly recommended.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm definitely looking forward to doing more of these.
I'll definitely go to the Goonies. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to the Alien one. Like I've seen Alien in the theater before.
Right.
Not that I wouldn't want to see it again, but I don't know. I'll at least go to the Goonies.
I'll be heading to most of them. So if you want to tag along, because I got nothing else to do on Fridays anymore. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Theater going experience.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, like I said, even for the movies I have seen before, at least there's new stuff,
right?
To enjoy, like the interspersed stuff.
And like everybody seems like excited to be there.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's like a mid-ground between going to a regular movie and going to Rocky Horror. It's like somewhere between as far as like that weird excitement.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I liked it.
All right then. Let's take a break.
Sounds good.
And play some sort of David Bowie song.
That seems appropriate.
Yeah. And we'll be back.
All right.
It's a god-awful small affair to the girl with the mousy hair, but her mummy is yelling no, and her daddy has told her to go, but her friend is nowhere to be seen. Now she walks through her sunken dream to the seat with the clearest view, and she's hooked to the silver screen. But the film is a sad thing for she's lived it 10 times or more. She could spit in the eyes of fools if they ask her to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the old man beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if you'll ever know who's in the best-selling show. Is their life on Mars? It's on America's tortured brow that Mickey Mouse has grown up a cow. Now the workers have struck for fame, 'cause Lennon's on sale again. See the mice in their million hordes, from Ibiza to the Norfolk Broads. Rule Britannia is out of bounds, to my mother, my dog and clowns. But the film is a sad thing for, 'cause I wrote it 10 times or more. It's about to be writ again, as I ask you to focus on sailors fighting in the dance hall. Oh man, look at those cavemen go. It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the old man beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if you'll ever know who's in the best-selling show. Is their life on Mars?
Hi, we are back on the show.
We are back on the show.
What's happening?
Nothing.
What's happening?
Nothing good.
Nothing good?
I've learned some harsh life lessons this past week.
Well, you know, lessons are always good, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And the biggest one is that I'm a massive fuck up.
Oh.
And also, don't leave my house, and don't try.
Oh, those are not life lessons.
Those are life lessons. Those are the lessons life are teaching me.
Oh. I'm sure there's a much better lesson hidden within the experience than that.
Probably, but I don't want to learn that lesson. Because that lesson involves work to fix.
Right. Right. All right.
Yeah.
Anything good going on?
Nothing I can talk about.
Okay.
Because it also sadly involves that bad stuff, too.
Okay. All right.
Although, I bought Lego Batman 2 for the PS3.
Sweet.
So that's fun.
Yeah, that is cool, right?
Yeah.
That's what you were playing when I got here, right?
It was.
Yeah.
I love the Lego Batman games.
Mm-hmm. Did you have Legos when you were a kid?
I had a few.
Yeah. Did you have like play sets or just like the shapes? Like
just the shapes.
Geometric.
Yeah. Maybe a couple of Lego people.
Yeah, I think same here. Like I think like towards the end of my run with Legos, I
Right.
saw the people.
Right.
I was like, what? There's people. And then like next year I was smoking weed.
Right.
Yeah.
It's back when you were like 8.
It was 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't smoke any weed until I was 14. Yeah.
That seems like a little late to be still playing with Legos.
Well, you know. It's one or the other, weed or Legos. I'm going to make sure my kids are always stocked with one of them.
Well, as I learned from the incredible Lego movie from a couple of weeks ago, it's never too late to play with
Yes, I believe that.
Yeah.
It seems like you could still like figure out things.
Oh, yeah.
With that. It's kind of like model building and
Yeah. Nothing wrong with any of that.
or just playing. You can just play with toys. That's fine.
Nothing wrong with toys.
Nope.
We all went to look at toys yesterday.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, sort of.
Sort of. Yeah. Yeah. We stopped at the Kmart on the way to the theater because we had some extra time.
Yeah.
And it's right there. So you can see the theater from the Kmart. So Joe was looking for Flash toys, and he found one.
He found one. He didn't like it.
Yeah. Well, he said he might wait because there's another Kmart going out of business, and he might find one for like 40% off.
Oh,
or
okay.
something.
Yeah.
So he's a smart shopper. Respect that.
Yeah. Speaking of Flash, there's apparently in the works. No guarantee that it'll ever show up, but there was a new Flash TV show happening.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And yesterday they released the first official image of the guy playing the Flash. It's just like a headshot of him, so
Yeah.
I mean you can really only just see the mask, but it looks alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He has a kind of almost a smile on his face in that picture, which is weird.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that?
Because it's DC Comics.
Oh, because it's supposed to be dark and
Those
brooding.
heroes don't smile.
Right. Yeah. It's all dark and. Now, could you see his eyes, or was that white?
No, you can see his eyes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And like they had the ear thing, the weird wings. For the TV show, apparently it's just going to be the Flash symbol across his ears.
Okay.
Which doesn't look too bad.
Right.
Yeah, it's still something there. Yeah.
So you don't know if it's going to be Wally West or...
It is Barry Allen.
Oh, it
He
is
has
Barry.
already been introduced in Arrow as Barry Allen.
Ah.
We've seen him get struck by the lightning that gives him his powers.
Okay, cool.
But he will have his own show maybe next fall.
Yeah. And Joe is still excited, I'm sure. Even though,
I'm sure he is interested. I
Even
don't know
though-
about excited,
right.
but interested.
Yeah. Intrigued, yeah.
Yeah. Arrow has turned out to be a much better show than when it started to be.
Yeah, I've only ever seen... I think I saw the first episode with you,
Yeah.
and, like, I could take it or leave it. Like, it didn't like, disgust me, but I didn't love it.
Right. It's gotten better.
Yeah.
He wears a mask now.
Oh, yeah?
I mean,
That's cool.
That's something. Mm-hmm. There's been villains in it, like actual like super villains. Deadshot, Deathstroke, Bronze Tiger. Apparently, Clock King was in the most recent episode.
Oh, wow. Cool. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm not entirely sure how we got onto that, but there it is.
Yeah. Flash. Toys.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I've been behaving like a big boy
Oh
this week.
no.
I went and got my driver's license renewed.
Uh-huh.
I got my license plate renewed.
Yeah.
I went to the dentist, got a cleaning,
Yeah.
and then I got a haircut.
Oh, how'd you do all this? This all involves money.
I know, right? And I got an oil change.
Oh,
Yeah.
Again, you
Yeah.
know, these are all very adult things.
Right.
But they all involve a lot of money.
Yeah.
Especially a couple of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, when I went and got my oil change, they were like, "You also need this done." And
Of
this,
course
you
they
know.
did, yeah. They're fucking thieves.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, like my service engine light is flashing now that I've picked it up."
Yeah.
You know, like yeah, you should probably get this thing done. When I went back, bastards. But yeah, I mean, you know, I had a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Now I've got less.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, I was trying to behave like an adult this week. I still did some drawing, and
Oh, okay.
and I went to my friends. I think I mentioned before. Unexpectedly had 4 kids.
Right.
I thought they were gonna have one, and they're a little overwhelmed.
Right.
So I told them I'd help them
And
out.
these are the same friends that like a month ago also like got their house flooded.
Yeah, their house just like erupted with water and
Right.
ruined like all 3 floors. So they've had like a lot
Some
of
issues.
Some issues.
Yeah.
So I went over 2 days this week and spent like 3 hours each day like helping them like clean up and do stuff. So I did a little manual labor. Like I raked like 8 lawn and leaf bags full of leaves this week, which was pretty. That was intense because it was fucking cold.
Oh yeah.
It was like 15 degrees the day I went over there, but I think it warmed up to like 25 by the time I was out.
You're
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. But yeah, That was fun, actually.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound fun.
I like working outside as long as it's not, like, full-time every day.
Right.
But, like, there's something enjoyable about just random, like nobody else was out there with me. It was just me, you know? So, like, I could just, like, zone out and, you know, I like that sometimes. Like you're doing right now. No, I mean, just like dumb physical labor sometimes, you know.
Right.
I'm obviously not built to, like, do that all day, every day. But it's kind of enjoyable. Yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of my week.
Cool.
Yeah.
I got nothing I can really talk about.
Yeah.
What happened at all, but
Anything you're looking forward to? Something going on? Anything coming up?
no.
St. Patrick's Day.
Definitely no.
You're not going to go out drinking with your bras?
With my bras on? Maybe. I do need a little extra support.
Right, we all do.
No, not at all. I've never done that,
Yeah.
and I never will.
Yeah, me neither.
First of all, I'm not Irish.
Right?
And second of all, I hate large crowds of drunk people.
Yeah, me too. I was thinking about trying to start a tradition with Kathleen this year. I was going to see if we could split a box of Lucky Charms cereal and watch Leprechaun in the Hood together.
All right.
On St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
Let's see if she's down.
sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm kind of jealous that I wouldn't get invited to that.
Oh, maybe you would.
All right, yeah.
Maybe you would.
I mean, you and I have seen at least 2 of the Leprechaun movies
Right.
together. I mean,
right. Somehow we... Actually, well, in our defense, we mostly listened to them because we were drawing while we watched them.
sure,
But still, yeah.
I count that as watching.
Yeah, I watched them. And I've never seen Leprechaun in the Hood or Leprechaun in Space.
Right,
Which are arguably the most intriguing, too.
right. Well, there's also Leprechaun in the Hood 2.
Is there really?
Because Leprechaun in the Hood was basically a reboot of the entire franchise.
Well, that makes me think that one was probably pretty good then if they
Made
made
a
a sequel.
direct sequel
Right.
to that sequel.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of excited. Yeah. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I read Frankenstein.
What?
I read Frankenstein. I'd never read it before.
Okay.
I mean, I started it last week, but I finished it just a couple days ago. That book is fucking great.
Yeah, it's a pretty good book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some people have talked about it before.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's a lot to it that I had no idea was in there, though.
Right.
Like, I mean, it was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just about this, this guy that makes a monster. There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Impressed. I was very impressed.
There you go.
And she was like 18 when she started writing that, Mary Shelley, and 19 when she finished it. I was trying to think, what was I writing? And I remember when I was 18, I wrote a song about how much I like barbecue potato chips. That's what I did. She did Frankenstein. So, there's that. I mean, I still do really like those barbecue chips. So I guess I wasn't wrong.
Right.
But,
Hey, write what you know.
right. Yeah.
She knew about science and creating life from the dead. And you knew about Grippos.
Right. Exactly. See, those grippos. Man. But yeah.
And you know what? You shouldn't compare. You both grew up in different times.
Right. We've both done very well for ourselves.
Exactly. She lived in a time where science was still scary and the possibilities of it could have drastic ramifications. And you live a time where science has been perfected.
It's old hat.
Barbecue potato chips have not.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, and could she write a song about barbecue potato chips?
Probably not.
I think not.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And I played the guitar on that song, by the way.
Right.
Did she ever play a guitar?
I don't think she did.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does she know?
Nothing. Fucking nothing.
She may have invented science fiction when she was a teenager. Who knows? But that's nothing.
Yeah, no. People have done it better since then, too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you think about it, she needed to have a version of that book with illustrations by Bernie Wrightson to even be considered good, right?
Right, yeah. That's when people took notice. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I don't know that I would have ever read it if I didn't own the Bernie Wrightson version.
Right.
Because I started to read that. I was like, I should just read this. Like, these illustrations are so fucking beautiful. I should just read this and, like, you know, have the full experience. And I started to read it, and that book is just, like, it's kind of awkward to sit there and read.
Uh-huh.
So I actually went to Second and Charles and found a paperback copy for, it was like $1.70 or something. And I was like, okay, I'll read that. And yeah, I'm really glad I did.
Huh.
It's a great book.
I read that book when I was in the 2nd grade.
Nice.
And I got it from the library.
Wow. See, that's impressive. Because it was kind of hard for me to read.
Yeah.
There's a lot of flowery words in that.
Uh-huh. Also read Dracula around the same time.
Have you have you seen the version of Frankenstein that has the Dan Close artwork?
No, I have not.
Yeah, there's a, like, they did that series where there was like a Jeffrey Brown and Anders Nilsson and Chester Brown. Like, Chester Brown did a D.H. Lawrence book, and Anders Nilsson did a Brothers Grimm book, and Dan Close did the Frankenstein wraparound. Chris Ware did a Voltaire book, Candide, and Jeffrey Brown did Ethan Frome. So yeah, it's really cool. They chose nothing but, like, awesome cartoonists.
Right. Yeah, I've never seen this.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Awesome.
Pretty neat.
Yeah.
Well, I guess since our lives are minimal at best, should we move on? And I should pick a book?
Sounds fine. Yeah.
Okay.
I would, say that I'm getting kind of hungry and could probably use something to eat. So we should probably.
I could eat soonish.
Yeah.
Well, one other thing I did this week that I didn't forget to mention was I listened to the episode of Gutter Trash where you and Joe reviewed the Spirit movie.
Yes.
And in my mind, I was like, morally, I feel as if it's the podcast obligation to balance things out by us reading a Will Eisner book.
Okay.
Because we've never done that.
Sure.
So I was going to say we should read To the Heart of the Storm by Will Eisner.
Okay.
One of his graphic novels.
Okay.
Sweet. Yeah.
That sounds fair. Sure.
Awesome.
Fair.
Cool.
And then the next week we'll watch the movie that Will Eisner directed that ruined a Frank Miller comic.
That would be great. Like if he did, like, he secretly, like, had a script for Holy Terror, like in 2004, and he made a movie for it. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, To the Heart of the Storm.
By Will fucking Eisner.
William Eisner.
Rest in peace, sir.
Rest in peace, indeed. I am trying to think if I actually even own that.
Well, if not, I happen to have a copy with me today.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and borrow that, because even if I do own it, I don't know where it would be. So,
right.
Yeah. I know I've got a couple of Will Eisner's graphic novels somewhere around here, but I don't know which ones exactly. Except for
Youngblood.
No.
Will Eisner's Youngblood.
That would be great.
Wouldn't it?
That would be awesome.
Oh, man.
Man, no. What's the one about...
Contract with God?
No, it's the one about, like, contact with aliens.
The Life Force? Or the Miracle Where? It might... A Contact with Aliens?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember.
All right, then. To the Heart of the Storm.
Sweet.
Will
Will Eisner.
Will Eisner.
All right.
Cool. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Gutter Trash. You can subscribe to the show from guttertrash.net or from iTunes and leave us a review. Visit guttertrash.net for email information, links to our Facebook and Twitter pages, and for other podcasts and websites in the Gutter Trash Network. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.